to Contemporary Black Voices, where we discuss issues that impact the Black community. My name is Dr. Sharon Michael Chadwell, and I'm excited that we have a great show, a great guest. But I first want to introduce my panel guests. First of all, we have Chris Dawkins, who is an entrepreneur and community activist. Caleb Alexander is not here with us right now, but in the meantime, I want to introduce our guest, Rashan Hill, who is a financial consultant. And our topic for today is financial prepping in hard times. I think the three of us can agree that we are in a crisis in this country. People are losing their jobs. People who had planned to retire 10, 15, 20 years from now, all of a sudden they're finding themselves in a financial stress. So before we get started with the show's topic, Rashan, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, sure. So I'm a prior veteran. I served 8 years in the Air Force. After transitioning out of Air Force, I went ahead and went into FI/FM for IT underneath SAP. Did the implementation with the Central Federal Services, transitioned over to IBM, and right now I'm the War Room Lead for PAC Fleet for the Navy.
Okay.
Wow. Well, tell me where you from.
Well, I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio. I'm
You
originally
know,
from
you
Cleveland,
got
Ohio.
see Chris is being biased because he's from Cleveland. Okay.
I'm
Anyway,
from Columbus.
oh, Columbus. I'm
I'm
sorry.
a Buckeye.
Oh, wait.
I
So anyway, yeah, we got a serious topic. Where we are right now, Rashan, can we financially prep for this situation and beyond?
I think we can. The biggest thing that I would say is we have to understand financial literacy, but also we have to be able to understand budget. A lot of us live outside of our means. So what we need to do is actually understand our income and our expenses, but also understand, I like to live by the 50-30-20 rule. 50% of my income I use for my housing, my primary needs. 30% of my income I use for extras, and then the other 20% I put towards savings. A lot of us in America, I can say, cannot even afford a $500 expense without being in debt. And that's probably about 80% of the United States. Roughly around 90% can afford a $1,000 expense. So we have to do better with our financial planning, our funding, and ensuring that we have an emergency fund, at least 3 to 6 months. And if we can get our savings under wraps, then we can start to understand what is something that we need.
Okay. So you're saying that right now we can still prep,
Yes, yes.
even if we don't have a job or
So when it comes down to understanding preparation, if you do not have a job currently right now, the biggest thing to understand is how can you utilize your tools and your skills to be able to offset your expenses. I've been in some situations when I was transitioning out of military where I transitioned out, I was waiting for a position. I did side jobs. I used my skills to be able to make more. So you have some people that have skills when it comes down to technology. Some people have skills when it comes down to marketing. Advertise yourself to be able to make some type of side hustle. My father, growing up, he always used to tell me, you need to have 7 streams of income. But of a lot of us think that we have to have income that's directly based off our own time and merit. But there's other things that you can do. You can consult people. If you had a background where you came down to being HR, well, try to be an HR consultant and try to have a side gig where you start having your own LLCs or S corps. Work for yourself independently. That way that you can control the offset if your primary job is no longer paying, and that is now a backup account for yourself.
well, one of the things that I've experienced was when I lost my job with a particular university. I was a chair, a department chair. Well, we always have to sign these conflict of interest agreements, right?
Mhm.
To where you can't disclose information. So what I did was I did honor the conflict of interest piece. However, the extra jobs I took with other universities was as an adjunct,
Understood.
to where I was not in a management position to where you start exchanging. And then about, I remember March 10th, 2017, everybody was called in for our quarterly meeting. That quarterly meeting, everybody was fired. but we had like until June to get everything wrapped up. What saved me was I had those other jobs.
I completely agree. I think when it comes down to our society, we have to understand that we have to be a jack of all trades and just not a master of one. Even when it comes down to things that I personally go through, I do things that's free for the community for financial support and guidance, mentorship. Now, these things I don't charge people for, but it's still a skill set that if I need to utilize in other aspects, I can freely be able to utilize. But also, you have to think about what are you going to do in the meantime. You have people that are very good in construction, but can also have a lawn care service that they hire youth and people that needs more financial means that they can be able to mobilize and be able to have an asset. A lot of us, we don't look at it from the aspect of what is our next move. Sometimes we stay stagnant. And I think that we need to always be able to be agile in anything that we do when it comes down even from career and livelihood.
Yeah, during, maybe I need to pick this up next segment, but we got some time. You two were talking, we were talking about the housing crisis
Yes.
and the viability of a person being able to buy a home down the line.
I would say when it comes down to the housing crisis, you have a limited amount of space. United States is not getting any bigger, but you also have to look at the rates or where they are today. Back in 2020, they were around 2.25%, and right now you're looking at anywhere between 6 to 7%. Well, that is going to allow you to have less home to buy. Well, the housing prices have not gone down, they have increased. We see a little trickling effect here and there when it comes down to the market, but it's better for you to be able to understand, hey, if I want to have home ownership, let me do it now, but also go to a professional and analyze where you currently fit. If you cannot own a home, then you need to start working on a plan if you would like to desire to own a home. For me, I've had other clients that I've advised, and I've told them, hey, if you're sitting at the point where you are renting, rent at a point to where you can save for that home. Utilize, depending on if you make 30, 40, 50, 60,000, and let's say if you have a family of 4, use your tax income credit as a savings. Put it into a high yield savings account that it can build up for you to have assets. There are programs right now where you don't have to put money down. They'll actually help you so that you can transition into a home. And they will have different grants that's out here that's available to pay off any of your closing costs and things of that nature. But the biggest thing is we have to be able to get the knowledge and be able to research it. Not too many people are just going to hand it to you. But the thing is, there's a lot of information in this technology within the interwebs that can give you exactly what you need.
Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to take a break, come back, and we're going to talk about HELOCs.
Okay.
Okay, we'll be right back.